Hi.
Hey, Deborah. Well, good evening from Israel. Yeah, I was waiting for Wiser.
All right. Sorry, I was just sharing it out.
Mm-hmm. Now, how's it going in Canada?
Yeah, we're good here. I just, getting ready for the holiday break and all that. Everybody's running around. How's your Hanukkah?
My Hannukah is okay. I eat lots of donuts.
Mm,
I do.
yum. I love donuts.
Yeah, especially when it's cold outside, so you want to eat more.
Yeah.
Not good.
Mm,
But yeah, we only have Hanukkah once a year.
well,
So what are they saying there in the news about the Australian massacre?
well, I was trying to find the latest info. Let's see. So that Ahmed El Ahmed guy that they keep talking about. Um, so he's a Syrian guy. Uh, he got shot in the arm. He had surgery. They had like a huge GoFundMe for him. But apparently, also there was two IDF retired IDF soldiers, or they were there and they were also stop like helping stop the shooters. Um, yeah. um,
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. On Sunday, there was the first lighting, first candle on Hanukkah,
mhm.
one of 8 days, and there were 2,000 people at the beach, Bondi Beach in Australia,
Wow.
and there were two gunmen. Some said three at the beginning, then it said two. Like there were so many things happening that day prior to the massacre. I don't know if they said it on the news in Canada, but they were saying that there was a couple that was also attacked by those shooters. So it raises many questions, like
Wow.
where was the police? Where was the security? You know, so many questions. And this Ahmed guy, this is why I wanted to speak with you. I mean,
Mm.
you as an ex-Muslim, what do you think about this?
Um, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not like a Muslim would never do something like that. Uh, I just think it's crazy that they're focusing on that and trying to diminish the it's a terror attack by you know by Muslims, and it's an ISIS attack. Oh, Coastal, he's a friend. He lives in Australia. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Wiser,
Hello, everybody. Hello.
how are you?
Wiser, you made it. We said 8 o'clock my time. Okay. Give or take a few minutes, but you made it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so Wiser, we're talking about this Ahmed El Ahmed. Um, they say I read somewhere now, like before I opened the space, that he's a Muslim. Before there's they said that he was a Maronite. So you know what? Let's say he's a Muslim. Okay. Do you really think um, that nothing was said between those two people? The encounter when he took the gun. from the terrorist.
You mean they are familiar with each other? This is what you are saying?
Yeah, because listen, we only see the video. We don't hear. Okay, we only see the footage. Who knows what they were saying? I guess they were maybe saying something or talking or whispering, and it was like, to me, it's very fishy.
I
It
think
says too that he only did he only intervened after he ran out of bullets too. So there's that.
What do you mean,
I
Deborah?
think
Who ran out of bullets? The shooter?
Well, yeah. What? So after the shooter ran out of bullets, that's when that Ahmed guy took the gun from him and pointed it at him. That's what the news is saying. I was looking at the update on that particular dude, and that's what it says. So,
So, okay, so if this is the case, how do you know that the bullets, that the shooter didn't have any more bullets?
yeah. Well, maybe they found out like when maybe he tried to shoot him and he couldn't, and there was nothing there. I'm just trying to see.
there was a few seconds of silence. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's too early to judge what's happened. In my opinion,
Hmm.
he might be a believer or not. This is my question. No.
Wiser
Hey, rubber
Yeah.
banding.
or rubber banding?
Okay. Okay. Let me fix myself. Give me a few seconds.
No problem. Okay, I know how much we love Al Jazeera. I'm gonna put an article where they describe this quote unquote guy, and we can see what kind of.
Wiser?
Yeah, I think
I
this
can
is
hear you now.
London. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. This is London. Yeah. This is London. We don't have strong signals everywhere. So I don't know, to be honest.
So let's say he's a Muslim and he intervened. He took the gun when the shooter ran out of bullets. But I see in the video that this Ahmed guy was pointing the gun at the shooter.
Yeah. Mm.
The point I'm trying to make, and I'm talking about, it's like I'm referring to what I had the space the other day, and this woman, an Aussie woman, very nice lady, that she was saying, like, obviously, what they were telling on the news, that this Ahmed guy has been there for years and years in Australia. So he's a Syrian guy, and they speak to him like he's a patriot, like he's a good guy. And I see this as danger. It is a very big danger, because if you try to think for 1 minute that there is a good Muslim, so we know that, basically that the road to really down under is very close. This is what I'm thinking about.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Why they focus on him the most? Because there's other people that also stopped. Like, Here, the
Because
real heroes. Off-duty cop was walking and jumped in, tackled one of the gunmen, helped end it fast. A couple of Israeli tourists, ex-IDF guys who were there for Hannukah, rushed the shooters with whatever they could, grabbed chairs, a bollard, one even used a surfboard and pinned one down until police arrived. A local dad uh, shielded his kids with a bunch of other people with his body, and he's one of the ones who didn't make it. So there's those people, but all they care about is this Ahmed guy.
so it sounds more like a plan. This Ahmed guy is like they actually did GoFundMe for this guy. Um, it's not headed in a good direction the way I see it, because and I always say the Jewish people everywhere around the world, something happens, they can always come back to Israel. Always come back. We welcome them with open arms. We have the law of return. They can come here. Then, if something like this happens, okay, like in Australia, for instance, the Jewish people there would want to come to Israel, come home. Who's going to be the next minority? I mean, who will be next? You have to think. There won't be any Ahmeds helping you. And like, I'm trying to think. I keep saying this, and it's like you cannot emphasize it enough. Do you actually see Muslims attacking or having terror attacks at Muslims? No, you don't. They're all Jewish people or Christians. And now the next thing is around the corner. Christmas is just around the corner. It's going to be very interesting all around the world. So I'm trying to really think, why is this focus on this Ahmed? Wiser, can you give me an answer? Why do you think they're discussing Ahmed? Wiser?
Sorry, I was searching him on internet. I want to know if there is any social media belong to him. I believe there should be. I think we need to search for that footprint on social media he has, rather a Facebook or Instagram or X. Was just trying to find it out. I think everybody of us need to look at it and see if there is any trace of him, and then we can definitely say something. But at the moment, I think it's just a sort of softening the image of Islam in this sort of incidents, terror attacks. So, I mean, definitely, if he was genuine in his action, he needs to be praised. But at the same time, it shouldn't shadow the fact that Islam is the problem. Um, and for some reason, I think he was at the same place these guys were. So we don't know why, but this is something important as well. And above all, the guy doesn't seem fit enough to, fight a gunman. But anyway, it happened. So we need to really look at it. I'm also not feeling comfortable with these displays. Yeah, this is my understanding. So my suggestion is let's look at the social media and see if we can find any trace of this person.
I can send you something that I read today about this guy. I'm sending it to the group right now. I just sent it, Deborah Weiser. You can look it up. Do you know what I was thinking? That there are still wounded people at the hospitals. And if you remember, a few months ago, remember that the Israeli guy was talking on YouTube with the two nurses, and they were saying that actually they were killing Israelis. So I wouldn't want to be in any hospital right now in Australia.
Yeah, I remember that, and I don't know what happened to them. If you remind us.
I'm going to invite Coastal Mate. Let's see if he knows, because I think something was done to them. Maybe they were suspended. Coastal, you're up.
So, yeah, for now, I feel like what Wider said, like, this is like prime opportunity for them to focus on how wonderful Islam is because the guy saved the day, quote unquote. Like, it's an opportunity.
Coastal, can you hear me? Hello, you there?
Yeah, g'day. How you going?
Yes, hello. Can
Yeah.
you answer us?
Hey, first of all, I want to start off. Did I hear somebody say that Jewish people are being killed in Australian hospitals, the ones that are being wounded? Who said that?
The two nurses, remember? The two Muslim nurses that they were saying it? That they killed people?
Yeah,
I think one of them was doctor.
those people are gone. They're no longer in the hospital. That was right after when October 7th happened 2 years ago. They're no longer working in those hospitals. They're finished. They're gone. So that's I can tell you that is not happening down here. Okay, so just put your mind at ease. That's those people no longer work in the hospital industry. And anybody who had any ideas of doing shit like that, they wouldn't have a chance of working in that part of the in the nursing area of hospitals. But anyway, I've just got that off my chest. So yeah, there's a lot going on down here with this shooting now. There's a lot coming out. So just on that fellow who disarmed that terrorist with a shotgun, he had waited for him to, like, he had no more rounds left in his shotgun. So that shotgun holds like about 6 rounds. He hadn't run out of ammo. You could tell he had a backpack, and then he had an ammo pouch full of shotgun shells. So he just took the opportunity to jump on that, like, at the right time. He got on and pulled that gun off him. And then that terrorist then went back up to that bridge with where his son was, and then he then got hold of another weapon, and he started to fire. But that's when the police went and shot him down too. So yeah, but there's a lot going on. The real heroes are this two old couple. They're Russian immigrants. They saw them get out of the car where they were parked just near that bridge, which then looked down and at the park where the Hannukah celebration was going on, and he stepped in, him and his wife, and they're Russian descent, this couple, and they tried to take that shotgun off that terrorist, and they just weren't strong enough, and he killed them. They were the first two to get killed. So they're legends, those two, and they should be yeah, they're very, very brave. But yeah, there's a lot going on down here with this. Why this father had those guns, why he was allowed to have that license, and like his son was under investigation with ISIS connections. So why was a man allowed to get another gun license with a person living under the roof of his house who has connection with ISIS? It's very. There's going to be some investigations going on. How that happened, but I can tell you right now, the government down here, federally and state, are getting so authoritarian rule. They're just bringing in laws left, right, and centre, and they're also going after people who do have firearms licenses. It's like we're now the bad people down here, and they want to restrict how many guns you can have, how many rounds of ammo those guns can fire. So it's again, they're just coming after more restrictions on our firearms. So anyway, that's and just with that fellow who did take that gun off that bike, he's been out here since 2015 or something like that. But he owns a fruit shop down in Sutherland, and which is not too far away from Bondi. And he was meeting up with some friends to have a coffee there at Bondi, because everybody goes to Bondi. I was there 3 weeks ago having lunch down there, and it's a great place to go and have lunch. And it's where a majority of all the Jewish people live, Jewish faith and Jewish people who are Jewish have moved out to Australia. They all live in that eastern suburb of Sydney, over near the beaches there, the eastern suburbs. And the Jewish people have lived there ever since, like when Australia was being developed. So but there's big backlash happening at the government at the moment. I've looked at our Prime Minister last night. He looks like a very, very worried man. He should have done something about this anti-Semitic hate speech that's been put out about Jews 2 years ago, and he hasn't done it because I've said a long time that a lot of the Muslim people down here vote Labor. They vote for their side of politics, and he doesn't want to upset them. And he's let this fester too much, and it's now starting to work really against him. And he doesn't look good. I think he looks very worried, and a lot of people are starting to turn against him. So, and me too. I think he's the worst Prime Minister this country's ever had, and I don't trust him. I don't like him, and he's had this ever since he was at university. He's never liked the Jewish nation. He's never liked the Jewish state. There's even footage of him back in 2000 hanging out with a bunch of Palestinians, criticising Israel and all that. So that's his form. I don't like him, and I think he's got to go. People are asking him to resign as Prime Minister. Anyway, okay, I'll let you have a say.
Coastal, first of all, thank you very much. Few things. I don't think he doesn't like even the Christians, because
he doesn't like the way Australia is. He does not like that how Australia is like an Anglo-Saxon majority. He even said when he got into politics, when he became Prime Minister, he said, "I'm here to change the nation," and I knew exactly what he was talking about. He wants to just completely flood this place with immigration, and he's doing it. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands a year are now coming into this country, and he wants to change the demographics. He does not want to have a dominant white Anglo-Saxon Christian faith down here. He craps on that he's a Roman Catholic and all that kind of stuff, but he just uses that just to to his own means. So I don't trust him. He's a very, very deceitful politician.
I understand also some of the MPs were on the bridge that day, when they were shouting gas to
Sorry,
Jews.
I broke up there.
You there, Coastal?
Yeah, sorry, you just broke up. I didn't catch what you said.
I was saying that I understand a few MPs were there on the bridge There, when he's saying against the Jews, they were there.
Well, you just broke up a little bit there. Look, there have been there's been politicians go down there. I mean, the Prime Minister went down there. You know, he spent like about 8 minutes there, and he went with security. No one could get near him. He laid some flowers, and then he was out of there because he knew he was going to get booed, and he was not going to get a very nice reception. And then another politician, he's the Home Affairs Minister. His name's Tony Burke. They nickname him now Tony Burker. But he went down there late in the night and paid his respects. But a whole heap of people saw him down there and just booed him and said, shame on you, what you've been doing. Because, but there's been one politician, there's been politicians of the conservative side of politics are down there, and they're getting good reception down there. So,
Coastal, can you answer me? Maybe you have, because you're from there, obviously, so you have more information. Where was the police? Why did it take so long?
Right. Yeah, well, that's one thing we've got to find out. There's a lot going on there. I mean, Bondi has a very large police station, and even the suburbs around it, there's like Coogee, Maroubra, there's Bellevue, there's police stations all through the eastern suburbs. There's a lot of people go there, but Bondi is a very, very big police station. Now, regarding how police do their tactics, I don't know. I've got friends who are police officers. I'd have to ask them later on, but I just think they couldn't engage them because they just didn't have any like long rifles to shoot at them. But having said that, there was a plainclothes detective. He's the one who took out those shooters, and he just had no body armor on. He's pretty brave, and all he had was the cover of a tree, and he's the one who was doing all the shooting, I'd say. But then I'd say other police officers then backed up and started to shoot as well. But there are some people saying that police didn't act quick enough, and some are saying they weren't brave enough. But it's a situation when somebody's shooting at you with high powered rifles and shotguns. It's a pretty daunting affair. You got to So, but that's all going to come out in the investigation. So we'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, they were shooting for 20 minutes and other people were stopping them, but the cops were
Yeah.
just sitting there like
Well,
scared or it's just like it looks like,
so
those.
there's a photo of a policewoman. This is where things get reported incorrectly. There's a photo of a policewoman standing there like with her hands in the air. It's saying like she's like, "Don't shoot at me," or it's being portrayed like that. She's like cowering to the terrorists shooting. She's not. She's gesturing to the group of people, "Get this way, run this way now, get out of there." She's telling them to come this way towards them. So that's the problem. This is why things have got to be. You've got to look at everybody starts saying things like this.
Mhm.
But I have seen an interview with a young Jewish couple. She was saying that she saw police officers hiding behind a car, taking cover behind a car. So there was one police officer. There's two police officers got wounded. One of them got shot right through the eye. So, I mean, he's in a pretty bad state. And they may have been on the ground, and and that could have been a factor why police didn't move in quick enough. Because the next thing they've got two police officers down on the ground, so they were running in to engage those terrorists. Because they'd have been shot at. So
You're right.
but
There's a lot of
but
stuff
yeah,
missing.
It leads me
and also.
No, sorry, I have another question. You said that in every round they have 6 bullets. Okay, let's say.
Well, that shotgun does. That shotgun does. I know that for a fact.
Yes, it does. So they obviously stopped, to put more bullets. So that was the perfect time for the policemen to shoot them.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Yeah, there's all those scenarios, like running it. Okay, he's got to reload and that. But I've seen some of the footage of that terrorist. He was loading that shotgun. He had some pretty good. He looked like he'd had some training. Like these two terrorists had gone to the Philippines a month before. And the only reason why they've gone to the Philippines is in the southern part of the Philippines. It's all full of terrorist camps and Muslim. That's a Muslim held area of the Philippines. So what were those two doing up there? And this is another thing: is they go to the Philippines and they come back and what? Nobody says anything when one of the sons has been under investigation for ISIS connections. Like, come on, there's and this father's gets a gun registered, gets his license back in 2023, and he has a son living under his roof that's with ISIS. This is what people are starting to ask about, and this is now all affecting people like me. I'm a registered firearms owner. They're all starting to come off. They're all it's going to affect us. How many guns and we can have in our in storage. So yeah. But there was a big arrest too. I'll put it up in the nest. There were 5 Muslim-looking chaps who'd driven up from Melbourne, and it looked like they were on their way to Bondi. And I've heard that they had firearms in their car, and they were stopped at a suburb just outside of Bondi, not too far away, but a fair bit. But they police rammed them. Special Forces police got out and arrested them, and there were 5 of them handcuffed on the side of the road. And they reckon so
Yeah, that's wild. So there was another crew
yeah,
on their way to the same place with a bunch
yeah,
of
yeah.
guns. Oh,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
I'll
there
put that
must
up
be
in
a
there.
lot of counterterrorism going on because you're seeing a lot of like in Germany, they foiled a bunch of plots that were happening in LA. They were gonna bomb a bunch of places on New Year's. So they're
Yeah,
stopping a bunch, and that just means that there are that many planned that they're catching some and not catching some, and holy cow.
yeah. So yeah, you've got to find out what these 5 are up to now. And they're all long beards, like typical Muslim-looking blokes. And they all had long beards and that. And yeah, they were up to something. Word is that they were they were on their way to Bondi Beach again. I don't know what they were going to do there.
Yeah, I
There's that
mean,
many.
if they caught them and rammed them to stop, like they must have found, or they've been investigating them or watching
They
them
Yeah, it
or
seems like the
something.
word. Yeah, somebody they might have been already been tailed all the way. They've come all the way up from Melbourne. That's 800 kilometres away.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like coming up, yeah. So that's just that's. I'm just trying to put something up in the nest, but it's not working. So um, yeah, it's
You can
just
put it down
footage
in
of.
the pill if you can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
crazy.
Actually, I
Like,
just sent it to you. Just sent it to you,
okay.
Deborah. So, um, how do you do the pill? How do you put it in the pill?
Well, it's like a comment. So it's as if you're just making a comment on any post.
Oh, okay, here
So
we go.
yeah,
Right
you
here.
just do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all very there's a lot happening in this country at the moment. I don't like what I'm going to see. Just there's all these laws and everything they bring out. If you say something, I think now on your social media or I just hope we don't become like England. Where the police come knocking on your door and hey, you put something on your Facebook page or your Instagram page or your um, yeah, it's just a bit because they're bringing this e-commissioner in. That's the person who looks after information. When I heard her name brought up, I went, "Oh my god!" Yeah, so I'm a little bit worried about Australia at the moment. You got to remember this government; they are the extreme left. The prime minister and everybody's running it. So yeah.
Coastal, what does Pauline Hanson say about what happened in Bondi?
She got a great reception down there at Bondi. Everybody was there applauding her. And there's her offsider. His name's Barnaby Joyce. I she's just 100% Australian. She's for Australia, for all us Australians. She's always been saying that the mass immigration coming into Australia by these is just it's just going to hurt Australia big time. She's not for all this multiculturalism, diversity thing. She's not for climate change. She's not for all this renewable energy. She's I like her. When you hear her speak, sometimes she doesn't really you know she just speaks from the heart. She speaks like a real true Aussie. People think, oh, she's not that smart, and when you hear her talk, but to me that's just like a real average. The real true Australian, the way she is. Yeah, and her support is gaining strength. So it's great. I love it because it's what we need to do. But she got a very good reception down there at Bondi. Everybody was clapping her and coming up to her, and yep.
I think people like her should be prime minister.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. Well, I'm just so tired of these mainstream politicians in this country. They just are not. They do not have their heart in it for us Aussies, and we just they don't have a backbone. They don't have a spine. They just. I look at them. They look so weak and pathetic. It's quite embarrassing. you know.
Yeah, but this is not just in Australia, Coastal. It's also in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, it's everywhere. So, but Pauline Hanson's got red hair, so she's like a female version of Donald Trump. I just got a break for a few minutes. I just got a break for you. I've got to do a few things here at work. I'll still listen. I'm just going to listen, so I just won't be able to talk. So I'll be back in a bit.
Thanks, Coastal.
No, thank you very much. It was supposed to be a very short space because it's evening and I'm tired. I'm very tired. It's been a long day. It's very cold in Israel right now. It's like a cold wave, not a heat wave. Yeah, it's winter. Yeah, so we have many, many questions, unanswered questions. Police, the gun. It's like it's terrible. Terrible. So many.
The Jewish communities everywhere are just afraid now. Like they don't. Oh, like everywhere. It's so sad. This is not okay.
Yeah. And like I said, Christmas is just around the corner. In other countries in Europe, I know that some forgot the name of the city, starts with the letter M. In Germany, that the Christmas market was canceled, or the other places like in Berlin, when they had, remember the terror attack a few years ago. So they have little ramp or poles there. I mean, this is ridiculous. Instead of tackling the problem, they're just basically giving, like instead of giving, antibiotics, they're giving paracetamol. Like I say, they have to really face the problem. Problem is Islam. It cannot coexist. Not with Judaism, not with Christianity, not with, I don't know, Buddhism, nothing. Because it's a cult that wants to conquer. Wiser, can you tell us more about this? Because you and Deborah, I mean, you were there, so you know. Wiser, can you hear me, my friend? Deborah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Like you said, he's got a bad one.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us? What do
You
you
mean
think
about,
about the cult, about what's going on in the world?
well, this is never going to stop. I know that. The groups behind it, they're just never going to go away. Like, um, I hope this is a wake up call, like that governments start dealing with it in a different way. This is like, I don't know how many people have to die for them to change anything, but it won't stop as long as the religion exists, as long as there's Jewish people on the planet. They're going to continue to do this, not just to Jewish people, like you said. We'll see what's going to happen at Christmas and New Year's, and they're becoming bolder. It's crazy. And even like when I left, this is, I'd say, like, let's say 10, 15 years ago, the talk amongst Muslims and everything was that, like, everybody thinks that the West is very weak and it's very soon, when they can do what they want to do. So I know they're not correct. The West is not as weak as they think, which is good. But it seems like, and I'm hoping that they play their hand way too soon. It looks like they're trying to, like so think they might get like, clamped down on harder by governments and recognized for what they are. That's what I'm hoping for, you know. But I know that's how the view is. So I mean, if things don't change, it'll continue on like this.
So what would you like to see in Australia?
Oh, well, they need to stop being afraid of criticizing Islam and cracking down on that. And they need to listen. I don't know if you guys have been listening to some of the Muslims in the Gulf states are making videos explaining how their countries keep everything at bay by not letting anybody practice radical, well, quote unquote, radical Islam. They really like keep a damper on it. They're like giving advice to the West, saying, "Look, like, we don't let these guys do anything in our countries, and you guys are just like letting them do whatever." So hopefully things will change. Like, I think realistically, that's all they can do is change some policies, try to recognize it for what it actually is without being afraid. But I
I think the leaders and also the people, because obviously people follow the leaders, they vote for the leaders, but then they follow them. They should stop saying radical Islam. And I've heard it also from a leader that I admire the other day. You don't say radical Islam. First of all, it's a mistake. Islam is radical. And the second of all, if you say to your people, radical Islamists, that means there is like that there are good Muslims, you know. So basically, you're deceiving, you're lying to your voters, and you're deceiving them. So if you look at the Netherlands, Geert Wilders, he kept saying radical Islam. Where is he right now? You know, so leaders must stop saying radical Islam. People should go to the streets. That's what I would do. That's what we would do here in Israel if something like this happened. And we demand justice. You have to stand up and take your country back. Otherwise, not good. Wiser, can you hear us? I guess, I think he wrote me. Listen, guys, when Muslims tell you that we're going to kill you, we're going to, invade your country, and you're going to do whatever we tell you to do, believe them. Believe their intentions.
I just want to quickly say these two terrorists who did the shooting, they were, so 2 years ago, it was a few days after the 7th of October, there was supposed to be a Jewish memorial on the Opera House, but it was all hijacked by Palestinian protesters, and they marched all the way down through Sydney and down towards the Opera House, and the Jewish memorial had to be closed because there would have been problems. But in that crowd were those two shooters in that Palestinian march. Their faces and that have been identified. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is that son was identified as having connections with like ISIS support. So there's just things coming out now. It's just not good. I mean, this should never have happened. So, because I'm seeing footage of them, you can see them in the crowd at night down there at the steps of the Sydney Opera House. Screaming out, death to the Jews and gas the Jews, and that's what was happening that night over 2 years ago.
It doesn't surprise me. They're Muslims. They have the same agenda, the same manifesto, the same ideology as ISIS, BA, Hamas, Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, you name it. Iran, Qatar, also the same. They're all terrorist countries. All of them.
No, what was it when Muhammad had started the faith? In the first 10 years of him, had 83 wars. 83. That's no religion of peace. Going out and spending a faith or a religion peacefully. That was complete violence.
Complete.
And still going on today.
I agree. First of all, it's not a religion. It's a cult. It's a cult. People will like.
Yeah. I can correct myself.
Thinking, hey, this is a religion like Judaism, like Christianity. No, it's a cult. It's a cult that has a deadly ideology. If you just look at the book, you don't need people to tell you. You read it. You look at the book, at the verses. They're all about violence towards women, towards children, towards animals. It's all about violence and deception. Yeah, I really hope people will wake up. All those lefties, they need to know that they're basically, right now, they're playing useful idiots for Islam, but they will be next as well. All those trans and lesbian and gays, do you really think they're going to be okay when the Muslims rule the world or in your country or any other country? Of course not.
The defence minister down here was interviewed the other day, and he was asked, "Will you condemn hate speech by Muslim leaders in this country, in Australia, at mosques and places of worship and all that?" He refused to answer. He refused to say yes. He refused to say, well, we're going to do something about it. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. And you know what he then said? Well, we've cracked down on hate speech from right-wing groups here in Australia. Now, we've banned the waving of the Nazi symbol down here. And that wasn't the question. The question was asked, will you condemn hate speech by Muslim leaders here inside mosques and other places of worship? He would not say anything on it.
So there you go.
That's the standard. That's the standard of that's the standard of the government down here in Australia at the moment. But people down here are onto it. They are just like they're waking up to it. But can you believe that he didn't have the guts or the backbone or the spine to say, yes, we will do something about it.
I believe that the guy joined forces with Islam after the Bondi, the Australian Jewish massacre at Bondi Beach. He gave a statement. He never acknowledged that it was Hannukah. He never acknowledged that it was a terror attack, and it was 100% a terror attack. Just basically, everything's okay. Let's basically.
I'm just embarrassed. I just can't. I'm so embarrassed by this group. Yeah, we have Australian troops. We have Australian soldiers who are buried in war cemeteries in Israel. Do you know that? Like, we have men who went and died, and they're resting in soil, in Israel. And these politicians down here, it's just so insulting. It's because the way they're treating Israel here now today. It's just for the last few years, it's embarrassing. So we had Australian troops do one of the greatest horseback charges there in Beersheba, take Beersheba off the Turks on horseback, just with their bayonets in their hands, and they rode in there and they smashed those Turks out of that joint. And after that, they rode all the way up through Israel, kicking out all the Turks and all the Germans out of there. Some of the bravest men on this country's ever produced, and it's just it's embarrassing from these politicians.
Have you seen more people coming out to the streets, or if any, coming out to the streets demanding answers in Australia?
Yeah, well, it's down there in Bondi Beach, a lot of it is. But on Sunday, there's a big protest going to happen in Hyde Park. That's one of the main parks in Sydney. And I'm thinking about going down to that. It's and it's all aimed at the government and how badly they're performing and just they're just not looking after this country the right way. Yeah, so and that's what the whole protest is going to be about. A lot of people are asking them to. I think some people even it's starting to get to a point where I think we need to have another election, an early election, and we'll see what happens. Go down that track there too. And, yeah.
Yes, there were many posts today, and I replied in the morning because I was busy. So I replied a lot, and I kept writing and saying that the Aussies must insist, you must demand another elections. You have to, because this government, it's a left-wing government, and wherever the world there is a left-wing government, Islam thrives. Goes together. You have to change the government. You have to, I'm telling you, because Coastal, you don't know what you're in for. Look at the UK. You don't want to be the next UK.
Yeah, I've been living with it for the last 3.5 years since they've been in power. So we're coming up to 4 years. So yep, we've we got to do something about it big time. So
I hope you succeed.
yeah, well, we just need to get some common sense back into this country. It's been where it all stems from. It all stems from in the schools and the universities. Yeah, that's where it all stems from. Yeah, they've all just been brought up, to hate Australia, hate the Australian past, the way the country was formed and all that. It's no wonder we can't even get enough men and women recruited into our defence forces. When they're told to hate their country, why would they want to join up and then defend it?
That's another thing, Coastal. You need to sit like, like the Americans, they had Charlie Kirk. You have to sit with the young people, educate them, some sense of patriotism.
I'm saying, if a Charlie Kirk walked into a university here in Australia, he wouldn't even be allowed to sit down. It would be chaos because they're so more radical down here. You would not get one. You wouldn't get a chance to set up, your chair in your gazebo and engage with discussion with a group of university students here in Australia. Who are you wouldn't. Yeah, a snowflake in summer would have a longer chance than a person having a discussion with Australian university students.
Okay, so let's do the best. And Coastal, thank you for coming this evening and speaking to us, informing us. Thank you, Weiser. Thank you, Mrs. Lee.
I got to go. It's been nice talking to you. Anyway, from this Australian, you got my support. Don't worry about it. Cool.
Thank you very much. Thank you so
I'll see you later. Bye.
Take care. Thank you, for doing this.
Well, thank you for coming and speaking up, and thank you for our listeners and also incognito listeners. You also want to learn a little bit. So there you have it. if there is something, updated and everything, so I'm going to have another space about it, because we have to talk about it. We have to talk about, the elephant in the room. It's not even an elephant anymore. Change it.
Yeah. May I say something, please?
Laser.
Yeah, I think we should focus on this perception of Western mind that because I was also in other rooms. Some people think, okay, we need to come up with, challenging the uh, Muslims with, critical mind. In fact, we need to uh, debate, we need to discuss the matter and reveal to them that this is not, in fact, uh, an ideology or cult to adhere with. We to reveal for them the problems in Islam and this have a debate. To be honest with you, the problem in the West is very, very urgent, and I was my problem is you cannot go and debate with them individually and try to convince them that there's a problem with Islam and bring forward all the problems and challenge them. This is not possible. This is not practical. And it takes ages. And plus, we have 2 billion Muslims almost, I don't know. And most of them don't want to hear about these things. They don't listen. And we don't have time for these things. We need to think of a force majeure plan to save the West, to save the civilization in the West. And to be honest with you, we need to convince people that there is no time, um, and it's very quick. It happens very quick. Um, I don't want to see that children in the West are being abused. I don't want to see that you know the normal life is being shattered. uh, the culture, the Western culture is gone. I don't want to see them. But these people, I don't know why do we think we have millions of years of time? I don't get it, to be honest. So we need to discuss about these things with the people and try to tell them you need to be you need to think of a very um uh, you know uh, how do you say, a plan that works quickly and save the West. And I think I have some idea, but I think we will leave it to some time later and we will discuss about these things. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, Wiser. So I will see you next time. Thank you very much. And until then, know your enemy.
Thank you.